and we'll help you get through it. It'll probably prolong the life of your hips. And it did, Kim. It was like, I'm a totally different person now. But right around that time, well, 3 years into my disability is when I discovered this technology. And my husband had dealt with plantar fasciitis his whole life. And he was bad. By noon on any given day, he couldn't function. And we were at a NASCAR race, and some girl asked me why my husband was limping. I said, oh, he suffers with plantar fasciitis. And she said, oh, that's nothing. He just needs to get into the technology that, and I'm going, yeah, right. We've gotten orthotics from the chiropractor, $800 and $500 orthotics, stuff from Costco, from Walmart, from the internet, from the TV. Nothing worked for his pain management until we discovered this technology. And when he started using it, we started thinking, jeepers, this might be good for Heather with her hips, because I had chronic pain because I have a Trendelenburg gait. And because of the way I walked, I always had neck pain that resulted in migraines. I have been totally pain-free now for almost 8 years, just because of this technology. Yeah, it's amazing.
It is amazing. Yeah. Makes me feel actually really good because my hips are off too. You've seen me walk, but I don't have pain, thankfully. And I'm really, I never really, I mean, I've been thankful for that, but now when we kind of have that similarity because my hips are always off and I walk funny. And so I'm really glad I don't have the pain issues, but I've been using the technology too. So, you use it every single day. So you really don't know what it would be like. I mean, I have no idea what it would be like even 3 days without it. So no idea.
And we're not
finding out either.
Yeah. I remember, Kim, after I had my first hip replacement, I had no pain. And I remember I was going to go somewhere and I was stopped and I looked around and I was trying to remember what I was forgetting. And I was young at the time. My mother said, what are you doing? I said, well, I feel like I'm forgetting something. And it was like a person that smokes. When they go someplace, the last thing they do is look around for their cigarettes. Or 99% of us, when we go somewhere, we look around for our phone. It was like that. I was looking around for something that I had misplaced, and it was the pain. And apparently people that are in chronic pain are like that. As soon as they're pain-free, they feel like they've forgotten something because it's not with them anymore.
Wow.
And that's what I've been like for, well, almost 8 years.
How amazing. I know, it's fantastic. And you were just telling me also about this friend of yours who just had the blood analysis for the Defend patch.
Yeah, I was on a team call 2 nights ago with my team up here. And one of the girls that I just recruited as a practitioner and an associate, she does live blood analysis and hair analysis, and she has a clinic about an hour from here. And she had just sent me, she had tried the Defend patch. And I kept telling her how amazing this Defend patch was.
Right.
And how fast it started working. And between you and me, Kim, I have a hard time selling the Defend patch when I'm at a show because we get into trouble with the Liberty and the Victory patch. Because the results are instant.
Yeah.
People get a preconceived idea that all our patches have to be instant to show that they're working. Well, it might be instant, but we can't see it.
Yeah, well, the Defend patch is almost instant. I mean, within 30 minutes, right? You can see in the live blood analysis, you can see a change, but you don't feel it necessarily. Some people do, but most people don't. I don't feel a difference, but I mean, I wear it every single day.
So this is the picture that she sent me. She had put, and now this girl does live blood analysis, and she also sells, she sells a product to help people improve their blood and stuff. But I said, Helen, you have to try the Defend patch. So she finally agreed, and she tried it on her husband. Well, she was just blown away. So this is her picture of her husband's blood, and it was 45 minutes after. So this is the blood first.
Yeah. I see the
And you can,
clumping, yeah.
yeah, where it's all clumped. And then here you can see how it's opening up, how the clumps are individual. So she was blown away with that. And now she is going to be recommending the Defend patch to all the people she does blood analysis on.
For sure.
This girl also does hair analysis, and she's going to do her own little study on the Defend patch with regards to somebody's hair analysis. So she's going to do it over a 3-month span, put them on the Defend patch, and then do a hair sample, and then do it in 3 months.
Wow.
So that was kind of exciting that she was on the call with my team and she was showing us this, and it just reaffirms what we all know. Anybody that's an associate or a practitioner with this company has been wearing the Defend patch since the day it came out.
Truly, yeah. As
And
people
that
are
one,
paying attention, yes.
yes, yes, they were.
Because it
And
came out
ironic,
right before the whole COVID fiasco. So it was perfect timing. I mean, I think Jay even said, it's like, I'm going to bring this one out first. He had plans to bring a different patch out. And then he's like, no, I think we ought to bring this one out now because there was, you know, the health issue was becoming, you know, looming and growing right about that time. It was right during that 2020, 2021 time. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, we all slapped that thing on.
it came out in February, I think. We were all down at that women's get together in Toronto. They thought there'd be 3 people or 30 people there, and I think there ended up about 200 there. But he brought it out because there was rumors of COVID.
Right.
And he said right then, he said, I want every single person to make me a promise. Wear this patch.
Yeah.
If you don't wear it for 2 weeks before you get a vaccine, and for 2 weeks after you get a vaccine to protect yourself and your cerebral cortex. And I remember him, like, he was so passionate about that.
Yeah.
So I think every single individual that's involved with this company has been wearing it since then.
Absolutely.
I know we do every single day.
Same. Yeah. Those are the Victory patch. That's a newer one for me that I've been wearing because it came out just maybe 2 years ago. But so the Victory is and I think Defend came out before Victory and Defend. Those are my two absolutely without a day, without an hour, without those two for sure. Yes, and the other ones, you know, I wear as needed, but yeah, those two are like the foundation for me.
So that Defend patch actually was rebranded. It used to be called the Neurovax.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's why it was out before. We had the 3 patches. We had the Liberty that was rebranded, the REM, it kept its own name, and the Defend was the Neurovax. And so,
There was
yeah, those,
the Meta patch too, remember?
yep,
That was
yes,
the
actually,
Ignite
for
before it was, yeah. And it was like this
brand,
big. It was like this big.
yeah, it was like 2 inches by 4 inches, and you plastered it.
Like that thing was, yeah, unwieldy for
But it
sure.
worked. It works.
So yeah.
So
Yeah.
to date, I've never gotten the C word.
No, I
And
haven't either. I haven't either. No. I have
And
not.
there are so many times, it's funny because you mentioned the Victory patch. There's so many times when we as associates forget the power of our patches.
Yes.
And I remember when the Victory patch came out, I had suffered nerve damage on one of my hip replacements, on one of my revisions. Apparently, it's common when you get a revision, they end up stretching that nerve that runs down the outside of your leg and down across the top of your foot. Mine was textbook. I could not feel from the outside of my knee, down the outside of my leg, and across the top of my foot. I had wicked nerve pain. They put me in a splint. I had to wear this splint. They put me on these drugs for pain management where I totally lost my short-term memory. Anyway, that was years ago. The residual effect of that, I still had neuropathy down the outside of my leg and across the top of my foot. And it was about, now this is where I'm sort of acknowledging how dizzy I am. The victory patch had been out for about, I'm going to say 6 months. And I thought to myself, holy boy, this one has enhanced neurological capabilities. It's amazing for neuropathy and for any type of neurological issues. I should try this on my leg. So I started wearing this on my lower leg, right where the neuropathy started. And in about, I'm going to say 6 weeks, I had total sensation back in my leg.
Wow.
And I was so mad at myself for never thinking of it before. And that's the thing, we get comfortable in the technologies that we use, in our patches that we use.
Mhm.
So we forget what all the capabilities are. And we keep forgetting as well that this company is so new. Like, in essence, the patches are 1.5 years old. There's a few that have been out longer.
Mhm.
There's a few that have been out less than that. But for the most part, most of them have been out 1.5 years. We are still learning every day stuff that these patches help with.
And I,
And
yeah,
it's,
I have something I can add to that. So like, I think it was Dr. Andrea. She was kind of like doing some more in-depth training for us. And when she talked about muscle recruitment and certain things that clicked in my mind, I'm like, that's what I need. So that, and then my friend Irene, she actually gave me some to try because we were together in a thing, and because I didn't think about trying those because I was doing something else or whatever. And so I could definitely feel a difference when I started using Victory. And I was like, I'm not one of those really sensitive people that can feel that like magical patch feeling, that people, I wish I did, but I could tell I was walking better, with the Victory. So I was like, all right, I'm going to start wearing those. So that's when that started. So yeah, it's like it's all learning and understanding and getting that, that extra, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, we need all these things, and certain times you need them more than others. Like last night I was trying to sleep and not sleeping very well. I got up and put a peace patch on and I could just feel my body relax. Like
yep.
the hamster left the brain. I could just relax and I could just feel like I'm good. And I did sleep so much better. Yeah. So
That's what I mean, Kim. We take them for granted. I was doing a show a couple of weeks. We've been doing a lot of showcase hockey tournaments. And for people that are not familiar with a lot of hockey, Canada is huge for hockey. And what a showcase tournament is, it's when somebody hosts a tournament and they bring all the elite players in.
oh.
And along with the elite players come the scouts. Come the scouts for the junior teams, for the colleges that are recruiting players, for the universities that are recruiting, for the junior A teams that are recruiting players. That's where the scouts come to do their shopping for the elite players.
Mhm.
So we luckily got into 4 of these down in the Cornwall area. And again, I have my set patches that I wear every day. Well, there's one girl that I was working with, Jen. She wears the focus patch to work every day. And she speaks to a lot of people. She's got to have a lot of focus on what she's doing at work. But she wears focus patch every day. She said, Heather, do you wear this patch? I said, no. She said, try one. See if you notice a difference. Holy man. And you know yourself when you're at a show, you speak to so many people. By the end of the day, you're just like a robot. You're just saying it. Well,
Yeah.
that focus patch just kept me right on.
Yeah, it shows you have to be very focused because there's like a whole process to the whole thing. I mean, it's not just about talking about this, then there's, moving them along the process so they actually get the technology, right? I mean, there's just, and then you have to remember, signing them up for a giveaway or getting their information. There's just all these little pieces to do a show correctly. And, you don't just stand there and, chat. So, and then there's so many people coming and going and coming back, and there's a lot. I can totally get the focus patch. That's smart. Yeah.
We were also, this was another thing that was amazing. We were also piggybacking the focus patch with the victory patch.
Mhm.
And we had the opportunity to work with Kevin Dugay on a few of these tournaments. And for those that are in the business, Kevin Dugay is like the founder. He was the first associate, the first practitioner with our company. Kevin is also a sports medicine therapist. He's forgot more about sports medicine than most of us will ever know. And he works with another practitioner in Southern Ontario, and they work at a clinic where they do a lot of rehab work with major elite athletes and people dealing with head trauma. Well, we had the opportunity to work with Kevin there. Well, Kevin got us putting that focus patch and the victory patch together on these players, particularly the goalies.
Yeah.
When a regular line goes out to play their line in a hockey game, they only have to stay focused for whatever number of minutes, usually 2 minutes, that they're on the ice. Whereas a goalie has to stay focused for their whole game. The difference was night and day. The players noticed, their coaches noticed, their trainers noticed, the parents noticed.
Wow.
What did you put on the kid?
How
Well,
awesome.
we were putting yeah. So then the parents are thinking, if this kid is that focused in their hockey game, what will it do for them for school? Bang,
Correct.
they get it. Yep. So there was a lot of people coming back and buying focus patches for their kids for school, because it's so important in sports these days to have the education that goes along with it.
Right. And I haven't talked to anybody about like the head injury issue. I mean, because all these kids get bonked in the head one way or another. And that all those traumas add up over time. And we don't know why our kids are not thriving in school, but a lot of it could be head trauma from sports, I mean, whether you get whacked by a bat or there's just, you fall on your, tackled or whatever it is. There's so many ways you can get these little head traumas, and they all add up, and we kind of blow them off. But our technology addresses that specifically.
There's another thing we noticed at those tournaments, Kim, and I'm not sure if you were on the call with I mentioned it to Terry on one of the team training calls a couple of weeks ago, but we had several players that got hurt. Two of them in particular had back injuries. They went into the boards and had bad backs and went down on the ice. Another one took a puck to the shin. But all of these kids came out of the change room clearly in a lot of pain. So they would come right over to our table and say, do you have anything for pain? Yeah, we have a patch for that. So we put our freedom patch on them. And it was amazing how fast the patch started working on them. And this pain patch has been out for, I'm going to say, well, at least a year and a half.
Yeah, it seems like it's such an important patch, and I can't believe it's only been out that long, honestly.
Well, and the thing is, we have had so much experience putting this patch on people. We put it on people walking around the vendor show with a bad back. Inevitably, they come back and say, what did you put on me? But one thing we noticed is on the athletes was it was almost instant. And I've put this patch on thousands of people, but with these athletes, we were noticing the results were almost instant. Like the kid that took the puck to the shin, he had a bump the size of a puck and probably a good inch up on the front of his shin.
Yeah.
We put one of these right on the spot, and he went from having a hard time walking to getting up and walking across the foyer, and we're going, what the heck? And the same thing happened with the two lads that hurt their backs. And we all know this is neurological. We all know you put it along the neurological pathway. So you or I would insist on putting this on the neurological pathway on the spinal cord above where the kid was sore. Well, his mom was there and mom knows best. So mom wanted it right on the side where his back was sore.
Mhm.
So I put two on him, put one right on his spine, one right where he was sore, just to satisfy mom. Well, the results were almost instant.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that to Terry. I said, like, Terry, it was so ironic that with all these kids with their injuries, and these boys are big, like a lot of them are 6'2", 6'4", they're 16, 17 years old, they're right in their prime, they're in the best shape ever. And I said, why is it working so fast? So now he was wondering if it's because the injury was so new.
Hmm.
Because it was a fresh, we don't know. Like I said, we're always learning. But one thing that was very evident, the injuries were brand new.
Right.
Because we've also put this on people that have been dealing with chronic pain their whole lives. Some people, it might take up to 10 or 15 days to start working, and that's why we have our 30-day money-back warranty. But that's just something that Terry suggested, that it might be because the injuries were brand new.
Yeah, that would make sense because, over time you create this pain pathway.
Yes,
And
yes.
yeah, I know I broke my arm last year and I instantly put a pain patch on it, the freedom patch, and it didn't even swell.
Yep.
It was like wild, but it did hurt, but it didn't swell. It didn't bruise. I was convinced it wasn't broken. It wasn't until we had an X-ray way later that I was like, oh, okay. But I mean, that pain, I mean, I slapped that, and it's like, to me, that's what you keep that around for whatever occurrence that you might need it, because I'm not in pain every day, so I don't need to wear it. But I mean, something happens and just having it there just gives you a lot of relief real fast.
No, it does. I wear it when I'm doing shows because I've got neck issues from the way I walk. When I'm doing a vendor show, just from us doing that balance test, doing the dynamic stability test and pulling down on some of these people's hands. And some of these kids, like I said, are big boys. Like they outweigh me by a good 100 pounds. When you're doing a dynamic stability test on them, you're really pulling on them. Well, inevitably, I would get a wicked sore neck that would result in a headache. So I just wear,
Yeah,
I don't know if you can see it. I wear a pain patch here
yeah, I can see it now.
all the time because that's always where they stem from.
Okay.
Um, and it's funny. If you forget about it, you know it.
Yeah,
It's
those demos that take it out on me. It's like that's why I don't do a lot of shows, because doing a lot, it's physically, it's way harder than people think. It's a lot of work, especially if you're doing demos a lot. So
even standing on those
yeah,
floors,
yeah,
because we're on concrete floors for 3 days straight,
yeah,
from usually 7 in the morning till 7 at night. That is hard on your legs and feet.
definitely.
So it was the second day of the first show where I discovered that if you put one of these right on the bottom of your foot,
Yeah.
right your metatarsals on each foot, pain-free. And I was telling another girl, Jen Moyer, about it. And she said, I'm going to try that. So sure enough, she tried it at her next show and messaged me right back and said, holy cow, you weren't kidding. My feet aren't sore at all. And I threw a patch on the bottom of each foot this morning before I came out. The
Wow,
tech is amazing.
that is amazing, because yeah, when your feet hurt, everything hurts. I just
We're like
you get
horses.
grumpy. You're grumpy.
It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Well,
know,
I am enjoying this. We need to kind of wrap it up because this is it's getting long here. I think we're at like 30 minutes or something. So, but I really appreciated all your stories, Heather. I mean, I know we can just talk about this for hours and hours and hours, and we do, when we're together in groups and stuff, and it's fun. And, you know, it's what keeps us going because, it works. What we're doing, it works for us, it works for them, and we're just helping the world live a happier, healthier, pain-free life without drugs or chemicals or any ingredients whatsoever. It's completely safe for everyone. And that, I love that part, you know, because we can just recommend it to, you know, children and older people who are on all kinds of medication, and it's not a concern because we're not adding anything to the mix, right? So yeah, just I really thank you for coming on. I'm gonna I'm going to stop this thing, and I will I'll message you in just a minute, okay? Thank you for
Perfect.
coming. Have a wonderful
Thanks,
day.
Deb.
Bye bye.
Thanks for having me. Bye now.
Bye.